So, who's up for a game of Time Machine? Let's do this. Let's pretend we're getting ready for the holiday weekend. Not in 2023, not now, not in 2023, but in the 19-teens.
Well, you know, Ocean City drew its share of tourists back in those days, and it had its share of attractions.
Yeah, now the attraction that Jim Duffy, author of The Secrets of the Eastern Shore, wants to talk about today was a dilapidated old ship that had wrecked atop a shoal a little ways out into the ocean. Is that right? Is that right?
That is correct.
Why was this such adventurous fun?
Imagine you're a little kid out on the beach and you see this abandoned old ship a little ways out. You get in your little skiff, or at low tide, you could even kind of wade out there. You climb atop the abandoned shipwreck and you look in all the nooks and crannies. It was a very popular thing.
Now he's got me.
It was just sitting out there. You want to go?
I want to go now.
Yeah, me too. I love doing the time machine bit. So this was a ship called the John W. Hall. Okay. And it will be, the name might be familiar to Delaware history buffs. He was from Frederica. He was a big shipbuilder. He served as governor. He named it after his son, John W. Hall Jr. So it was built in 1890, began life on Delmarva, and it ended life on Delmarva in 1912. So they left from Wilmington, North Carolina with a load of lumber, headed for New York City, ran into a storm, something thwacks the boat, it starts leaking. They've got to pump the water out of the boat. They're offshore, nowhere near land. One storm after another. They're kind of listing this way and that. It goes on for 10 days. Ooh. During those 10 days, the captain says he saw the sun once. Now, he needed to see the sun because he didn't have any fancy schmancy GPS, and he needed to see the sun or the stars to figure out where he was. So he's just kind of wandering around, lost, the ship's a little bit out of control, one storm after another. Finally, a big southeast wind hits, and thwack, they land off of Ocean City. And they are stranded, and they do what all people on ships did in that situation. They climbed up into the rigging. They tied themselves to a mast. They landed in between two life-saving stations so nobody could see them, and it was at nighttime. And no one saw them until 7 o'clock the next morning. So they spent the entire night. This is in March, cold, freezing, stormy. They spent the entire night up there. Before somebody sees them at 7 o'clock in the morning, the life-saving service runs out. The seas are still too rough to get a boat out. So they use the breeches buoy system. You remember a breeches buoy system? That's where you like shoot a line out of a cannon and boom, and it goes up on the boat. And so they break out the breeches buoy and they shoot the cannon, and bam, first shot is a bullseye. So you think they're saved, right? There's one other thing that needs to happen. That rope just lands on the boat, and somebody on the boat needs to tie it down so that you can use it like a zip line to rescue people. There's 6 people on this ship. Really interesting. There was a Filipino guy, a Chinese guy, an Italian guy, a Dutch guy, a white guy, and a black guy. 6 people. 5 of them are too near death to even move, so they can't tie down the line. The hero of the story is the black guy. His name is not recorded. Do you ever hear of that kind of mythical grandmother who says, you should always wear clean underwear in case you get in a car accident, right? Yeah. So that you know, and all that. He must have had a grandmother like that, because he decided when they landed, and he was sure that they were going to die out there, he decided that he did not want to die in his ratty sailor clothes. And he went into his trunk and he got his Sunday best, the clothes that he wanted to be buried in.
Oh no.
And everybody who was associated with this rescue agreed that it was the fact that he put on warm, dry clothes that left him in better condition than all the other 5 guys. So he was able to crawl over there and tie up the line and get it done. And all 6 of them were saved. And all the children and tourists in Ocean City got to play for years and years on a shipwreck that had a miracle about it instead of a disaster about it.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that cool?
What a happy ending.
It's a happy ending.
I like that. Jim Duffy, author of Secrets of the Eastern Shore. As always, another stellar story.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank you, Jim.